What's the greatest yo mama joke of all time? This happened at Oak Ridge Middle School, where everyone knew two things. First, Mr. Templeton was the scariest principal you'd ever meet. Second, his son Marcus was an 8th grade nightmare who used daddy's power to make everyone's life hell. Marcus walked around that school like he owned every brick and locker. He'd cut in lunch lines without a word, mock kids for wearing the same shoes 2 days in a row, and copy homework right in front of teachers who'd suddenly find somewhere else to look. Nobody ever said anything because complaining about the principal's kid was basically asking for detention until graduation. The kid was ruthless. He'd trip people in hallways, steal answers during tests, and once made a 6th grader cry by telling him his backpack looked like it came from a garage sale. Teachers would witness this stuff and suddenly develop selective blindness. Parent complaints mysteriously disappeared into filing cabinets that never got opened. But Marcus made one massive mistake. He decided to mess with Leo. Leo was this quiet, funny kid who kept to himself mostly. He'd crack jokes that made his lunch table laugh until milk came out their noses, but he never looked for trouble. Leo wore the same 3 shirts in rotation, brought peanut butter sandwiches every day, and minded his own business. One Tuesday in the cafeteria, Marcus was strutting around like usual when he spotted Leo eating alone at a corner table. Marcus walked over and flicked Leo's apple clean off his tray. It rolled across the floor, gathering dust and lint. "Oops," Marcus said with this smirk that made everyone nearby go quiet. Butterfingers. Leo just stared at him, didn't move, didn't blink. "You gonna eat that apple off the floor?" Marcus taunted, getting louder so more kids would pay attention. "Or did your mama pack that thinking it would magically fix your weak DNA?" The whole cafeteria heard it. Kids at nearby tables went, "Ooh," like they always do when someone throws the first punch in a roast battle. Marcus was grinning, thinking he'd just crushed another victim. Leo stood up real slow. He brushed imaginary crumbs off his worn-out jeans and looked Marcus dead in the eye. "Yo mama's so lazy," Leo said in this calm, clear voice that carried across half the room. "She outsourced raising you to the PTA." The laughter started small but grew fast. Kids were nudging each other, grinning. Marcus's face went red, but Leo wasn't finished. "Yo mama's so fake," Leo continued. "The only real part of her is the guilt she pretends not to feel." That one hit different. Even Marcus looked unsure how to respond. His usual comeback arsenal seemed empty, but Leo delivered the knockout punch. "Yo mama's so involved with this school, even the janitor calls her boss." But not in a good way. The cafeteria exploded. Kids were slapping tables, choking on their food. Some actually stood up and clapped. Even Mrs. Patterson, the lunch lady who never smiled, said, "Damn," loud enough for everyone to hear. Marcus stood there looking like someone had just told him Santa wasn't real. His mouth opened and closed like a fish. For the first time in probably his entire life, Marcus Templeton had absolutely nothing to say. He stormed out of the cafeteria, face burning red, while kids were still laughing and repeating Leo's lines to each other. The next morning, Leo got called to the principal's office over the intercom during first period. Everyone assumed he was getting suspended or worse. Kids were already planning his memorial service because nobody survived crossing Marcus without consequences. Leo walked down that long hallway to Mr. Templeton's office, expecting to get destroyed. The secretary pointed to the door with this sympathetic look like she was sending him to execution. 10 minutes later, Leo walked out holding a free lunch voucher and grinning like he'd just won the lottery. Turns out Mr. Templeton had heard about the whole cafeteria incident. Word travels fast in a middle school, especially when the principal's kid gets roasted into oblivion. But instead of being angry, Mr. Templeton actually respected what happened. He told Leo that Marcus needed to learn what it felt like when someone finally didn't back down. He said he'd been waiting years for somebody to stand up to his son because he knew his kid was becoming a bully and nothing he tried at home was working. The free lunch voucher was Mr. Templeton's way of saying thanks for finally giving Marcus a taste of his own medicine.